Flood victims less devastated by the Mthatha flooding in the Eastern Cape are today moving into temporary shelters erected by local government. The delays came as a result of outstanding basic services, including water, electricity, food supplies and essentials. 25 families falling into a category of elderly and persons with disabilities will be the first group to be accommodated on land identified on Maydene Farm. Newzroom Afrika's Liyema Vumisa joins us live for more on this. Liyema, good afternoon to you. What kind of land are people being moved onto?
Very good afternoon to you, Stephen. Well, I can tell you firstly that we are right back at it again here in Maydene Farm, that's in Mthatha in the Eastern Cape. Now, this land is a land that is notorious or really known to be for temporary shelters for various residents across all of the areas here in Mthatha. They normally congregate to this very same land. Of course, it was identified by the King Sabata local municipality to be the rightful land that also will house those flood victims who were ravaged really by those Mthatha floods that occurred back in June. Now, yesterday we were here expecting that the municipality is going to usher in the first batch of flood victims into this very same TRUs. Those would be the temporary residential units right behind us, which were erected by that very same municipality together with other donors and even the OR Tambo district municipality as well. Now, the Eastern Cape government in its entirety, together with the national government, that would include the Deputy Minister and the President, who did in fact come to this very same place, last week on Wednesday to, check the progress of these temporary units. We understand then that the commitment from that collective of leaders and also government officials was that by the end of September, over 400 units in total will be erected in this very same land of Maydene Farm, and thus then will accommodate all of those flood victims right here in Mthatha. Now, yesterday came and that first batch was waiting, eagerly waiting. That is, as of course, they maintain that they want to rebuild their lives. But unfortunately, the municipality had a setback. Now, the setback is owing to some of the outstanding basic services that have still not been completed in this very same TRUs. Now, you'd understand, Stephen, that if you are going to be occupying a place like this, particularly a shelter of this kind, certainly, as a flood victim that has been displaced and left homeless, you wouldn't want to be occupied, or rather to occupy a space that is empty. Thus, then, that would be part of the reasons why the municipality had to delay the relocation yesterday. Other reasons were basic services such as electricity, water supply, and also food supplies. We understand that the electricians were on site yesterday and still are on site today trying to, install some of those street lights in this very same area together with the electricity inside these units. And also when it comes to water, there are showers that are going to accommodate those flood victims. But when we tried to probe yesterday, my colleague and I, as to whether or not there is water supply in those very same showers, we were surprised that there was no water available, and then thus asked the question that are these then the rightful places, or even that does this become the rightful time for these flood victims to be housed? Well, the municipality today is forging ahead with that relocation, maintaining that everything is in fact going to go according to plan, and thus then they have garnered as much of those basic services and also those basic needs that these flood victims will require. Now, we understand that over 25 families, of course, you'd know then that, Stephen, in one family probably it is a family comprising of about 3 or 4 people. Thus, then, collectively, when you do the math, we expect over 100 of, individuals from flood victims in various community halls here in Mthatha are going to be the first batch that will be accommodated in these temporary residential units. Now, the municipality has made a commitment today of 2 p.m. to be the time when everything will, be going according to plan. That is highly possible, but certainly not guaranteed. That is the word from the municipality. Matter of fact, we are also waiting a joint statement between the local municipality and also the district as far as that relocation is concerned. So we're certainly going to be standby then for that deadline at 2 p.m. But I can tell you that on the other hand, where the community members, or that would be the flood victims, where they are currently residing at various community halls here in Mthatha, they continue to eagerly wait for the relocation, maintaining, of course, that they want to rebuild their lives.